I literally had one drop out of it, and it's like the big leather one.
Yeah.
I turned around.
I got him. Got him. Guys, get the net out. Get the net out. Get the net out. I got him.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
The net.
The Coast to Coast Show is brought to you by Opros Fly Fishing, Orvis, and Scientific Anglers. After a day of driving, we finally made our way up to Edmonton. It was a long day of drive, but at the end, crossing the Rocky Mountain was really worth it. After a full day on the road, we were really happy to reach Edmonton and visit Reed's Fly Shop. The first thing you need to know is that Reed's is a really nice guy, and you have to visit him if you go to Edmonton.
I'm Reed Otto. I'm the owner of Reed's Fly Shop here in Edmonton, Alberta. So I first got into fly fishing when I was going to college out on Vancouver Island. I was studying fisheries and aquaculture at Vancouver Island University in Nanaimo, and I got into it there, and I've been hooked ever since. We have all the stillwater stuff for tying flies, fishing the stillwater fisheries. We have a lot of pike and walleye stuff, whether you're tying flies, buying flies, or the gear itself. And then we also carry stuff for saltwater, salmon, steelhead. Try and cover everything so our customers can sort of get what they need for whatever they're doing. Probably the coolest thing is seeing how the fly shop brings the local community together. Like the fly fishing community between the different events that we do, the fly tie nights that we do here in the shop. We also do some with Benstick Brewery, and just seeing the community come together is pretty cool. So we'll do weekly events here in the fall and winter time, usually on Friday nights, where we'll focus on a certain pattern. People can come in, tie, learn how to tie the pattern, go from there. And then with Benstick Brewery, it's kind of like an open tying night that we do. Everyone can go enjoy good beer and tie a few flies. Quite a few guys travel to the coast to do the salmon and steelhead thing, and they'll go fish the lakes in BC. And then a lot of people that just enjoy our local fishery too. We have a lot of stocked lakes that are stocked with like rainbow trout, brown trout, tiger trout, that kind of thing, right? And then we also have the North Saskatchewan River, which is a very underutilized fishery. You got walleye, pike, goldeye, mooneye, sturgeon, and we guide on it with fly gear, right? And most people are hitting it with bait. What James has really done since he started his guiding business is really opening people's eyes to the fact that you can actually fly fish it, which is pretty cool. Like the headwaters come straight out of the Rockies, and it flows right through town and then out east towards Fort Saskatchewan, which is sort of where we'll be headed tomorrow.
These fishing tips are brought to you by Scientific Anglers.
Timing is everything. Fly fishing don't accept it. To make a good cast, we have to make a pause between each casting stroke. This pause let time to the fly line to unroll at the back and at the front. How long the pause is? Well, long enough to let the fly line unroll. Let's keep this simple. For a short cast, the pause should be short. For a long cast, the pause should be long. Notice that the pause on the back cast is mirrored to the pause on the forward cast. Here's a sentence to remember. Short cast, short pause. Long cast, long pause.
Comme on a roulé toute la journée et qu'on est arrivé le soir chez Reed's Fly Shop, on a profité d'une belle nuit de sommeil à l'hôtel pour être en forme le lendemain matin. On avait rendez-vous avec James et Coy de River Valley Fishing Company, nos guides de 2 prochaines journées. On s'est rendu sur la North Saskatchewan afin de pêcher directement dans le centre-ville d'Edmonton en drift boat et en jet boat.
We woke up early and we were cruising by the river downtown Edmonton during the sunrise, and the view of Canada's Place with the sun rising, it was an incredible sight. At the first spot, we wanted our guide James to fish and show us how good that river was, and we were not disappointed.
Come on. I'll even change flies up on them too. There you go. There you go. Just like that. Well, he's not a big one, but it's still the skunk out of the boat.
He caught 2 really nice walleye at the first spot, and our drift day was not even start. So that really shows up how good that fishery is right downtown in Edmonton.
There we go.
turn it around.
I got him. Got him. Got him. Guys, get the net out. Get the net out. Get the net out. I got him. Yes.
Yep.
Get the net. Fight him hard here. Get him in the net.
Yeah. Pulling so much. Wow.
Yeah, it's because of the current too, right?
Yep.
Woo! Yeah, I got it. There we go.
Après avoir pêché notre premier spot, on est allé chercher Reed et Coy afin de débuter notre descente de la rivière, puis on avait tout un planning de la part des guides.
We started to drift in the river and everybody was switching places between the raft boat and the jet boat so everybody could fish with everybody. It was really a group thing. We were a lot of guys that knew each other since like one day, and we wanted to share some quality times together, so it was really a good idea to share 2 boats together.
Bam!
we were really impressed about the size of the flies that the walleye were hammering, and they were really crushing those big streamers. The guy at River Valley Fishing Guide Co. really know their stuff. They were putting us onto the fish. As the day kept going, the fishing really became a secondary objective for us because we were having so much fun together. We were speaking about fishing, about fish, about raft, about drift boat, jet boat, all those things that we have in common, but we can share the information about. So it was really more of a fun trip together than just a fishing trip.
Okay, so we're gonna do some nymphing now. Our setup, we're gonna be running some caddis pupae. What do you got on? You got a stonefly, you got a balanced leech on. We've been seeing lots of activity with stonefly shucks in the water, so we know those are gonna be working. The nice part about running double nymph rigs, what we're gonna be doing today is we'll have a smaller insect up top that the goldeye and the moon eye will find a little bit easier for them in the top part of the water column. It'll only be a couple feet down. And then we're running a 2-fly system, so on the bottom of that, a couple more feet down, we'll be dredging bottom with bigger nymphs, such as balanced leeches or big stoneflies, and that's where you'll get the walleye eating those. You'll get the suckers eating those coming around on the bottom, and it allows you to fish 2 different columns of water at the same time, so it maximizes your chances, right? You got more time in the water.
En tour de midi, on a eu la chance de manger du bon pain doré, de prendre du bon café chaud. Étant donné que la température était autour de 0, c'était très bienvenu. C'est le genre de choses qui fait vraiment une différence dans une journée, avoir des bons guides qui nous mettent sur les poissons et aussi qui nous fournissent le repas. C'est vraiment une grande différence. On peut partir la conscience tranquille puis que profiter du moment de la journée.
Oh, we have banana bread, fresh toast. So we made banana bread last night, cut it up, then we made fresh.
Emphasis on last night.
What? We made a loaf last night to be fresh for today.
This Fly Time video is brought to you by Orvis.
A technique that you need to learn for various types of fly is how to make a dubbing loop. In order to make a dubbing loop, I will be pulling on my thread down on my hook and use my finger to hold my thread down while I will be bringing my bobbin up. The second step would be to turn around my loop with my bobbin. And the third step is to attach the loop on the top of the hook. To use the dubbing loop, I use a dubbing twister tool. I will be attaching my tool to my loop and bring my thread forward. The last step is to use some dubbing that I will put between the thread on my loop and then I will have to spin the daubing twister tool. Once it is tight enough, I will use daubing brush to lightly brush my daubing and make sure that no fiber are trapped. And the last step is simply to turn it around my hook to build my body. It is this easy to make a daubing loop, and it is an effective way to attach daubing or other material to your hook.
Le soir venu, on a eu la chance d'arrêter dans un magnifique spot pour le souper et arrivé sur place, on a eu la chance de voir des goldeyes et des mooneyes sauter partout. C'était vraiment le paradis pour la mouche sèche. On a eu la chance d'en capturer plus d'un. C'est vraiment une pêche qui est incroyable. Ce sont des poissons qui combattent bien et très intéressants à pêcher, sont très voraces sur la mouche. Pour le souper, on a vraiment été chanceux. On a eu l'occasion de manger des fish tacos préparés directement par James, notre guide, directement dans la chaloupe.
On the last spot of the day, we fished it really hard because our guides told us that there was always fish hanging there. And they were absolutely right, as Eric caught a really nice mooneye right there.
Nice. Big goldeye, yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
Beauty.
Yeah.
Totally gonna mess this up.
Yeah.
It was an awesome day of fishing that we ended up at the Bauer and Schmoes restaurant. It is a German restaurant in South Edmonton, and we knew at this moment that he was the one providing the food for the whole day, which is really nice. Jarrett is a really great guy and his restaurant is beautiful, and we not only took a couple of beer, but we were eating really good there, and it was an awesome way to end this trip.